So what this is a little digital recorder. It has two little tiny microphones on top, and it acts like the old cassette decks they had when I was a kid. Every kid, I think, had a cassette player. You could record TV shows, radio, whatever on it. And that was pretty cool, but it took up some space. It was hard to synchronize. So why would you want to use a little digital recorder like this and not just use the audio on your camera? One of my cameras, the one that I'm shooting this on right now, is a Canon Vixia. Little tiny high-def camera, works great in the studio. The onboard mics are okay, and we'll take a look at what they sound like in a little bit, but the sound quality on this rascal is so much better. I've got a Nikon DSLR that we shoot videos with too, but the audio on it is not very good at all. Nikon didn't do a very good job with their microphones. So we ended up getting a recorder mostly to take care of that unit. Now I've got a patch that'll let me use studio mics on my cameras, but when I use them on the Nikon, they have a terrible 60 cycle hum. I can get really clean audio with this. Why wouldn't I use it? Plus, it's real easy to import. You just have to synchronize it with the video. So as long as you shoot it as one big chunk and edit it up that way, you're going to be just fine. Do you have to use a digital recorder to make good quality videos? No, you really don't. You could get by with what's on your camera. I've done it for a long time. It's just, I really was not happy with the quality of the audio coming off of that Nikon, so here we are with this guy. That rain going on in the background is actually recorded on my front porch. I just went outside after I got it, turned it on, and recorded the rain falling, and you can hear it. Sounds like we're having a rainstorm. So I put that snazzy rain plate up behind me. Ooh, it's raining. So like I said before, the DSLR mic was terrible. Hooking a microphone up to it gave me a 60 cycle hum. If I wanted to add a mixer to it, I probably could get rid of the hum. There's a couple things I could do to get rid of that noise, but it just seemed easier to me to get a hold of one of these. It's going to have a much more robust sound. It's going to be better suited for this because of where it is in proximity to your talent. Like right now, you can hear my voice, no problem. This thing works really good for that. Now you can probably hear it on the camera. This is camera audio. This is audio from the DR05. You can hear a definite difference in it. When I first got it, I thought it would be fun to contrast the Canon Vixia's mics to the DR05 with just the little mics here on top. So what I did was I came in here in the studio, I sat down and I recorded kind of a Grand Funk sounding acoustic guitar piece. I don't know, something I was just making up at the time, but I was listening to a lot of Grand Funk, so it probably sounds a little bit like Grand Funk. The audio in the first part where the screen is green is captured by the microphone on the camera. The second audio, when you see the full finished shot, was captured on the DR05 and just massaged for normalization, where we made it as loud as it was going to be and as low as it was going to be. We really didn't process the sound too much at all. So it gives you a good idea what the sound sounds like. So how does it sound on stage? Well, I took this recently when our band was tuning up and sort of getting set up and doing a sound check, and just sort of caught some of the ambience on stage, and that's what this is.
It's a nice little chorus effect you got on it.
Now keep in mind that our electric guitars don't go through the wedge. What you're hearing here on this next clip is the wedge on stage and whatever's out in the house. But mostly you're hearing the wedge on stage and the acoustic guitar player who stands next to me and the bass guitar player and, of course, the drum kit. Even with it in a soundproof cage, it's still very loud. This is what our stage sounds like. In this next sound clip, I was standing up on a mezzanine, picking up the voices of some people who were hanging out and visiting in the lobby on the first floor. It's a fairly large room, probably 30 feet tall. I was a good 15 feet to 20 feet away from anybody who was talking, yet it gives you a good feel for how the room sounded. As we spoke about before, there are two microphones here on either side of the right mic and a left mic, and they'll pick up all the sound in the room. Ooh, it's picking up the sound of the room. It does a pretty good job of getting you a stereo mix. There's also a small jack on the front that we can use to put on a small lavalier mic. This mic works great limits everything. I can hide it against my shirt. The only thing you're going to see is this big chrome clip. I'm going to have to paint it or something. Look for a review of this lavalier mic coming up soon. You can also monitor what you're recording at any given time by coming over here and plugging a headphones or a small amp into this line out jack. Works pretty good. There's also a button on this side that's a hold button. As long as that button's on, you can mash the buttons and it won't start up on you. It won't start recording, won't stop recording. So if you're shooting audio like we're doing for this, it'll shoot the audio just fine for you. And you can't shut it off. So you have to turn that off when you want to shut it off or do anything else with it. On the other side, there's a simple USB port that you can use to dump your files down. I find it a lot easier to take the memory card out off the side and just put it right onto my computer. That works pretty good for downloading sounds. At the bottom, there's a little set of holes. You can hook up a little lanyard like an old-timey camera. I've never done that. I don't think I need to do that. On the front, if you look, here's a screen that shows you where everything's happening. You set your levels and whatnot through here. You have your plus and minus buttons, your rewind, fast forward buttons, and down here you have your menu button. The menu button brings you into different places where you can set your levels, change how the unit's going to behave. This is set up too so you can do overdubs. I've never done that. That's not the sort of thing we do with it. We do all of our overdubs on the computer in this other part of the studio. We have a really good audio workstation that goes with our video workstation and CG workstation. So if we're doing any of that, we're probably going to do it over in post-production area. But here in the studio, you could do it. You could do it out in the field. Might appeal to you. I don't know. It's not something that I've really found to be useful for myself. All right, so that's what it does, and it does it pretty well. I've shown you what it does well. Let's talk about some of the stuff that's sort of annoying. One of the annoying things is that I've read online, and I've actually seen it myself, is this button here. If you press the record button one time, it makes the red light blink. This little red light right here will start blinking. What that means is it's armed. It's not recording. It's just armed. So you might miss a take on something unless you're paying attention. So really, you should be paying attention anyway, so just take a look at that, and if that red light's on dead solid like it is right now, you can go ahead and record like we're doing right now. With your camera, when you set up and you want to start recording, you just go ahead and fire it off and let the audio be what it's going to be. It has an automatic level control, and this does too to some extent. You can adjust your input levels, the trim basically. You can bring that down to the point where it's not going to be overmodulated, and your sound's going to sound still pretty good quality without being too quiet. If you make your audio too quiet and you push it back up, you're going to get a hiss. You just will. That's just how it works. So set your levels to where you're just kind of hitting around the peak. You should be good. It shouldn't be another big problem for you. Another thing that I could see this being a problem with is on a regular mic, you have those little foam things that go over the mic and keep the wind from going through and going, making all that popping noise, because that's annoying and it's terrible, and it'll absolutely kill an outdoor shoot. I haven't seen little foam things I can put over these. There's a couple of strategies I could use. One is a dead cat like this one here in this picture. Somebody somewhere is making dead cats you can throw over. It looks like, they call it that because it looks like a dead cat. But the way a dead cat works is the wind blows up against it, gets knocked down on that to a point where it doesn't pop on the microphone. And those work pretty good. The foam knobs work pretty good. That dead cat looks like it would work pretty good. The other way I'm going to use this is a lot of the time I use a little lavalier. I should be able just to stick that under my shirt. It should still pick up my voice, but not the wind. Should you buy it? Is it worth buying? Well, the conclusion I've come to is, yeah, it's worth buying. I think I paid $100 for this from B&H Audio back in New York City. I buy a lot of stuff from them. They do a great job. They ship stuff out to you for free. I went and looked at the same piece on Amazon. Amazon wanted the same price that B&H did because they were fulfilling through B&H. But they were going to charge me some shipping. So I don't know why I would do that. So the reliability of this unit seems to be pretty good. I haven't had any issues with it. It runs on a couple of AA batteries, and the batteries hold up for quite a while if you remember to shut it off. You can set it to run alkaline or you can run regular batteries. It's got a setting in the menu for that so it knows what it's got in there. You can do a lot of things with it. I haven't had any lost sessions because of a failure on the part of the equipment. It's usually been my own stupidity, setting something up where I didn't get it set up correctly. The quality's pretty good. I don't know what I would compare it to. I mean, it's made out of plastic, but it's a pretty solid plastic. Everything works the way it's supposed to. The fit and finish is good. The feel's nice. Years ago, I had a Tascam 4-track that I used a lot. It held up pretty good. If this holds up as good as that, I'll be happy. I passed that 4-track on to my son, and I think he's still using it, like maybe 20 years since it was brand new. He's still using it. So hopefully I'll get that kind of longevity out of this. Tascam does make other models. I chose this one because it's $100. I'm I've got no budget for any of the films that we make. No budget at all. Zero budget. In fact, we're relying on the kindness of strangers sometimes. Having a tool like this is something I think you're going to want to have. You can use it in every facet of your production process. It's going to make your audio sound better, and that's one of the easier things to fix. So why wouldn't you do it? I mean, if you've got an extra $100, buy one of these. If you were to capture the audio on this and get clean video from even a cell phone, you'd be able to make a pretty good video that I think you'd be pretty happy with and people would be able to hear and understand. So would I buy this again? Heck yeah, I'd buy it again. It's great. It works exactly as advertised. It goes exactly where I need it to and does exactly what I need it to. I love that I can pull the memory card out, stuff it into our production computer, and suck everything off of it and process it and get this back out and put it away. The batteries hold up. It's not very small. I actually have a bag that's big enough that our Vixia fits in it, the DSLR, all my lenses, filters, all that stuff. And this recorder fits in my big bag, and if I need to take other stuff, I can throw it in my backpack. But for the most part, this is small enough that it'll fit just about anywhere. It's improved the quality of sound for the productions we've done. It gives us the ability to put this in a small microphone on somebody, get them a long ways from the camera, and still get very clean audio on them. So it's opened up a little bit of artistic creativity that we wouldn't have had before without this unit. So should you get one of these? Yes. If you want to have clean audio for your film projects, this will work perfectly for you. If you want to just get out and record some friends playing music, you want to record your band, you want to record nature sounds, you want to go out on your front porch and record some rain like this, it'll do it. Perfectly good for that. $100 from B&H Audio. Other places have it for $100. You might even be able to get it locally for that same price. They make other units that do all sorts of other things, but you're going to pay for those other things. You'll have more control over it, but at the level of filmmaking I'm at, I don't think I really need to have more than this. This is more than adequate, and it's definitely not the weak spot in my filmmaking. If you're casting around wondering what you should do about video, or if you're on the fence about this unit, I'd say pick it up, man. It's a pretty good unit. You're going to be pretty happy with it. For the price, you could afford to get a couple of these. Have one in the studio for ambient and then have one on a person with a mic. Can't do anything but improve your sound, right? So there you have it. There's your Tascam DR05 digital recorder. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Please consider subscribing to our channel and liking the video, because that's how we get paid. Thanks. See ya.